Congestion inside that.
Very good evening to you. Welcome to the Football Sleep, brought to you by 1xBet. And thank you for tuning in from wherever you are. We have lots packed up for tonight, and the gentlemen are already in studio. We are going to talk about a lot about African football, as well as the big matches that we have for this weekend. Remember, Chelsea has been on a losing streak, but tomorrow they take on Everton. We'll be focusing on that match. But aside from that, Davis Mbere is here, Franklin Kipruto is here, Roger Sishtemi is back. Not that he left the show last week, we were together. Cedric Musumba is here, and the man on my far left, or right, that is, how are you doing? Daniel Kariuki. Leo after umepigwa jua, hata president akaangalia akasema, huu kijana ameteseka sana, tunaweka canopy Nyayo.
Lakini si huyu kijana hata amechomeka sana. Aliangalia mashemeji dabi ya Sunday. Akaona kuna watu walipigwa. Labda ni jua. Nifanya wakapigwa. Sasa akasema hii tutaweka canopy.
Yes, before we continue, we have a question tonight.
Of course, today we have a question, Twitter poll, or rather, a question that we're asking. Can Chelsea bounce back against Everton this weekend in the EPL? Remember, Chelsea in the last 4 matches, they've not had any win. And they're going to be facing Everton tomorrow at 6 p.m. So can they bounce back against Everton? Remember, Everton thrashed Bournemouth 3-0 in the week 15 of the EPL. So week 16, can Chelsea bounce back against Everton? You can talk to us at Hassan Juma, at R. Okenye, at Danny Kariuki 254, and of course at Dennis Otachi. But tunaweza zungumza na sisi at SMS number 22151. It's free. You can send your SMS, your answer to 22151, and we've also put that question on our Twitter, Facebook pages. So I'm going also to be taking a look at some of the feedback on those platforms. And also you can call us in. You can call in live and talk to us and tell us what's your prediction. Can Chelsea bounce back as they face Everton tomorrow at 6 p.m. You can call us. The numbers are appearing on your screen. So call in live and you're going to hear from you. And also we are having 10 games that we're going to be looking at this weekend in our weekend sleep. So we get to look at the 10 games that we have selected across all the leagues in Europe and here in the country. We have these three matches from the EPL, the Kenya Premier League. Mara Sugar faces Kariobangi Sharks. Kenya Police will be facing AFC Leopards. Sofapaka will be facing Tusker. Then the game that we are having on our question tonight, Chelsea facing Everton. Liverpool will be facing Brighton. Burnley facing Fulham. Roma facing Como. Atletico will face Valencia. And then Bayer Leverkusen will be welcoming Coin. And then Freiburg will face Borussia Dortmund. Those are the 10 matches that we are talking about today. So you can also send in your prediction. Unaonaje hapa hivi ukiingia pale kwa 1xBet. Hapa unaona ni gani unaweza kula kitu.
So we know who will lose this weekend, so we'll be coming back to that later. As I said earlier, the gentlemen are in studio. I know today was an easy day for them. Cedric resting. Roger Sishtemi, of course, was here. Anapambana. Kipruto was here. Davis as well, but
who was resting?
Who
was resting?
Cedric. It was leo imekuwa holiday.
Unajua tulisahau maneno ya holiday. Kawaida tuko kazini tu.
But let's get into the thick of it. Now, a few days ago, Bandari parted ways with their head coach, that is Mohamed Boruji, and his assistant. And now, remember, he's leaving Bandari after 8 games, having only 1 win, 1 win, 5 draws, and 2 losses. Roger Sishtemi. Let's get into the thick of things. Yes, Bandari settled for 1-1 draw against Gor Mahia today, but let's leave that out. Parting ways with their Moroccan coach. I mean, we expected when he signed and when he was unveiled in Mombasa, kulikuwa na mbwembwe shamra, that is going to take the club to the next level. But after 8 games, 3 months, that has not been the case.
I think those appointments sometimes come back to bite these clubs. They don't do due diligence on the type of coaches they hire. And And the writing already on the wall, based on the fact that just a few days ago, the board of trustees, that's for Bandari, was dissolved. And maybe that was already a signal that something big is coming up. And looking at how Bandari has been performing the last 8 matches or so, it is not convincing. Bearing in mind, these are teams that gets a lot of support from the Kenya Ports Authority. And I've been on this show several saying that indeed those teams that are getting support from the parastatal, they should be challenging for the title. Unfortunately, it's the other way around. Teams that are maybe community teams are the ones trying to show us indeed what football means to them. But looking at what Mohamed had done at Bandari, I think it is not what many expected. He's of course a former Moroccan international, but looking at his CV, it doesn't speak volumes that indeed he had done some good jobs somewhere. So these some of the things maybe we need to dissect deeply more so. Those people may be given the role of scouting coaches. And it's not only Bandari alone. I think these are cross-sectional issue that Kenyan club are so quick to go for foreigner coaches but without looking their qualities, because even those qualities that have gone for the foreign coaches, they can get them here locally. And you have seen them, most of the local coaches trying to beat these foreigner coaches.
Beria, is it time we trusted our local coaches?
Naisi kwamba ni muda sasa kupatia makocha wazao humu nchini nafasi. Manake kabla ya Borji kuteuliwa kama kocha, kulikuwepo na John Baraza ambaye alikuwa ameshikilia wadhifa huo kama kocha kaimu, na mchuano wake wa kwanza Baraza alishinda mechi yake ya kwanza dhidi ya Moranga Seal kama sijakosea. Lakini pia inafaa kocha wakati anaingia katika klabu yoyote awe na mbinu ambayo hasa atatumia na cha pili awape hawa wachezaji nafasi kuwajua. Manake Borja alipoingia Bandari kuna uamuzi ama maamuzi fulani ambayo alifanya ambayo yaliishia kuwakera baadhi ya wachezaji, ikiwemo kuwadondosha nje wachezaji ambao walikuwa wamefanya vizuri katika klabu hiyo. Nazungumzia kama kina Eric Mulu, kina Yusuf Ali, ambao si Bandari wamecheza pekee, wamecheza baadhi ya vilabu vikubwa. Kwa hivyo nahisi kwamba mvua kunyea Bandari na kocha huyu kupatana na shoka lile ilianza siku yake ya kwanza. Hakuelewa falsafa za klabu ya Bandari, hakuwa na mbinu na uamuzi mzuri wa kujua nitajenga vipi kikosi changu, na cha tatu Bandari wenyewe hawakujielewa kwamba kocha huyu anatoka wapi, na hakumpa nafasi John Baraza kushikilia wadhifa huo na kuendeleza klabu.
Kipruto, do you feel probably when a foreign coach comes into the country, he should be given time?
Kulingana na mimi naona kwamba wapewa muda, lakini pia muda hiyo pia lazima kuwe wameka period fulani. Kwa sababu ukiangalia huyu kocha Borji, kumbe kwamba kuna mechi walikuwa wamecheza kule na APS Bomet. Akasema kwamba walipoteza kutokana na uchovu wa wachezaji. Unajua safari kutoka kule Mombasani,
But the team kujipanga.
Kujipanga.
Unafaa mjipange kama unajua mnaenda mbali.
Lakini muda wanafaa wapewa, lakini lazima kukuwa na mazao. Hatukuona kwa kocha wa Bandari, lakini pia tumeona hivi majuzi hiyo kikosi ama tuseme management ya Bandari, kuna watu wengi ambao wameenda nyumbani. Tuseme management ya Bandari pia nzima kulikuwa na shida. Andiposa inafaa jipange vizuri, tuone itakuwaje.
Cedric Musumba, let's leave Bandari alone. Let's talk about the Kenya under-15 teams that were in Uganda for Sekafa under-15 schools championships, and this is what they were treated to after, there was a delay in accommodation after the tournament was done. I mean, these are kids, they should not be treated like this.
They have been seeing it actually happening on their senior team members. And it's not a new thing to Harambee Star. We thought that maybe by ushering in a new office, things will be treated differently. But and again, we have seen the Hussein and Mariga's kind of leadership, just borrowing from the past and doing the same thing, following the same script, just like what Nick Mwendo would do to our team. So thinking of anything different to happen to any other national team, vis-a-vis in regard to whatever we saw happening to this particular kid, is like casting our net so wide without knowing what that particular net will be catching thereafter. I presume that maybe And that particular tournament, the federation itself was not quite prepared. That's why
Because they went late.
Yeah, they were late, and you remember that long trip over the road. And by the time they were reaching there, this is what actually bedeviled them before even they were hammered. Was it 7 goal or 15 goal?
First match, 7 by
Seven.
Uganda.
Yeah. So the essence of federation not getting prepared and communicating to their counterpart on the other side, and also allowing them also to understand what they are going through so that they can treat their team well, is what fails. I think that the federation could not actually offer the essence of communication and the partnership between federation, because the Ugandan federation wouldn't have treated their player like that
So
if we had spoken to them early enough.
after this information came out, of course, the federation also came out saying that they have spoken to the Ugandan Federation as well as SECAFA and CAF on the treatment of these kids, and SECAFA have said that it was just a delay in logistics. If I'm not wrong, Eshtemi, it was a delay in logistics. That is why this happened after that letter that we saw. Now, Cedric, now while we are still on the federation, 2 days ago, Football Kenya Federation signed with Akakoro Academy to create a development camp in the country. What is your take on this?
Yeah, it might be sound to many as a good move, but I have the minority kind of an opinion, and of which has actually been stood to by my mind since and before. You know, we have several scripts to borrow from. We have several formula to borrow from. Why are we struggling? Why do we go all the way to Homa Bay to set up a camp for all the rest of the country? You expect somebody from Mombasa to go and have those particular skills back there at Homa Bay. Why couldn't they be thought of maybe breaking our country into regional, the same it was before in provincial level, and then have a headquarter? If they wanted the headquarter to be at the Homa Bay, but you have a subsidiaries in all over the 8 former provinces, then from there, you will be picking the best player from those regional to go to Homa Bay, other than wanting everyone across the country to trickle back to Homa Bay. Remember, I don't necessarily think if this one academy at the Homa Bay can really service the talent that this country hosts. Western only, the Western region only can overwhelm this Homa Bay particular of academy. The Nyanza itself, that's the Kisi and the Luo Nyanza, it will still overwhelm that particular academy. You want to grow the skills that we have in this particular country, think about the regional implementation of academy kind of style. And more so, we shouldn't even be struggling with the academy. That's according to my understanding. Academy, go down and set up those academy in high school level. We have seen it working. Ababu Namwamba showed us how we can scout those particular. When we hosted our provisional game, then come to national. We came up with the players who, and again now we are calling for their service, like the likes of Adrian Kibet, to come and play for the national team. That's barely less than 2 years ago. So as to say, if this is the skill, bring these guys who want to set up academy, let them set up offices in Homa Bay, but task them to bring those mindset to high schools. Go and talk to high school, set up academies in high school. Then you will be pulling the best to go and camp in that particular corridor that you want.
Eshtemi, your thoughts?
To bring them to the national level. And then Harambee Star will have a feeder.
Eshtemi, Cedric will not finish on this of developing players.
I think the timing is okay, based on the reason that we have seen the gaps that the Kenyan football has had the last few years. And you know, for the federation to come up maybe with that partnership with Akakoro, it's not something new. Cedric has explained it very well, because Akakoro have been there. They were under the former federation as well. But why Akakoro? We have so many academies in the country. This is something that should be streamlined across the country. And then while at it, the federation are the custodian of the game. They should come up with the philosophy that can be deployed by all these academies in the country. They regulate those academies so that they know this is the type of style that Kenya needs to play. As we speak right now, even if you ask somebody maybe from the federation side, which philosophy do we have? Which style of play do Kenya have? Definitely the answer will not get it readily. But that said and done, I think it's high time. Let's not be short-sighted. Let's have a long-term plan, because Akakora deal is here. But what is the end game? How many players are we looking for to churn from this particular maybe system that we are coming up with? Because we have Mombasa, we have Central, we have Rift Valley, we have Western, we have Nyanza. all those regions have good players. But Cedric has said this very well that indeed we need to go back to Zagallo's days, whereby we had those center of excellences. Let's go back there on the grassroots, get this player, let them remain where they are. Once maybe they show that they have what it takes to go to another level, that's what we'll do. But we have also to ensure that the coaches, mostly high school coaches, those people on the grassroots, they have the capacity to try and mold these players into future stars. Because if you don't develop these players at that younger age, definitely there's nothing you'll get. That's exactly what you saw, what Senegal told us, that indeed, you call yourself a footballing nation, but without these small basics, there's nothing you can do. Football education is key. Let's invest into it, and then at the end of the day, we'll all celebrate. But I hope and pray that that Akakoro deal is not for selected few people to benefit from it. Let it be something for the national team, or rather the country, to benefit from it. Because if we make it wrong, definitely we have to.
Davis, you have something to say.
Cha kuongeza tu nahisi kwamba pia hatuna miundo msingi mizuri ya ligi za chipukizi ambazo zinaendelea. Sasa hivi nikikuuliza, unajua ligi yote ya chipukizi hawa wadogo ambayo inaendelea?
Ligi ndogo.
Inajulikana.
Ligi ndogo.
Nazungumzia ligi ya FKF.
There used to be an under 13 league.
Hiyo ndio nazungumzia. Nahisi kwamba
under 13 ni chipukizi. Kaka anajua uelewe, lakini under 13 ni chipukizi. Chipukizi tunamalizia pale 22.
Nahisi kwamba tunafaa kuwa na ligi kama hizo. Wakati tunawekeza katika talanta hizi kutoka shuleni, michezo ya shule za upili, hawa vijana wanaingia katika ligi. Wakiingia katika hiyo ligi wanaanza kupanda ngazi. Ukitoka ligi ya chini ya umri wa miaka 15, unaingia chini ya miaka 17, unaingia 20, kisha unaingia wazoefu. Hapo ndipo inafaa tuanze kuwekeza sasa hivi kabla ya kufikiria mambo ya kesho.
Now let's move away from that. Daniel Kariuki, you're very excited. So before we are moving to Cameroon.
Yes.
And Cameroon has submitted, or rather they want to submit 2 squads to AFCON 2025. Kipruto, Samuel Eto'o, the head of the Cameroonian Federation, has his squad that does not have Onana, does not have Abubakar. Mark Bryce, the coach. Pia yako na squad yake.
You ameweka Onana.
Ameweka Onana, ameweka Abubakar. And this is something that is rather interesting, having in mind that we are only a few days away, less than 10 days away before kickoff of AFCON 2025.
Kwamba huyu Eto'o hakuna shida, dhani kama ipo sawa, kwa sababu kumbuka kwamba hapo nyuma alikuwa amepigwa suspension kwanza na FIFA. Sasa hizi unaona kwamba yeye ana support assistant coach wa kule, na ukiona kwamba kikosi ambayo ameweza kuitoa kwa sasa, unaona kwamba Abubakar hayupo, na anahofia kwamba Abubakar anaweza akaenda akampita kwa ile magoli ambayo ameweza kufunga ama kuifungia timu yake ama taifa lake la Cameroon. Lakini hiyo itakokuaje, kwa sababu ukiangalia pia kocha ambaye yupo kwa sasa amekataa kuondoka, amesema kwamba yeye zitoka. Lakini huyu
Mark Bryce
amesema atoke, amekataa kutoka, amevutwa kazi.
Lakini amefutwa na Eto'o. But the government is supporting him.
Namsupport. Lakini pia Eto'o yuko na kocha yake ambaye pia uliona kwamba juzi wameita media invite, ametoa press kuhusiana na kikosi ambaye ameweza kuitoa. Sasa juu itakuwa kwaje, kwa sababu masiku ni chache. Lakini kikosi ni 2. Moja kuna Onana, nyingine haina.
It's going to be very, very interesting which squad goes to AFCON between the two. Now, Cedric Musumba, Nicolas Pepe, your favorite player Adingra have been left out of the Ivory Coast squad, the defending champions. But Pepe is out, but there's one man who's back to the squad, Zaha. Yes.
I think what Ivory Coast is trying to do is what we talked about last week. It's preparing a team that is using Africa Cup of Nations like a World Cup preparation, and see if it can really get a very good squad from it. And I'm pretty quite sure at some extent, if they don't necessarily impress for those who have been privileged to be called into a national team, there are some that will be dropped, and maybe the likes of Pep and Adingra, if they continue impressing within their club, they can be recalled back into the team. But if you go by this particular Ivory Coast, they are much more focused on the World Cup than Africa Cup of Nations, due to the mere fact
but they will be defending champions.
Yeah, they will be coming in defending champions, but we have seen it for the recent years, it has been, leave alone the likes of Cameroon when Cameroon was called Cameroon and Egypt. It had been so quite hard for any African defending champions actually to go and defend their status in Africa Cup of Nations. Also given to the essence of how other teams have been growing their footballing essence in Africa Cup of Nations. But to this, Pepe, to me, according to my understanding, it was a time essence for him to be dropped, because the form he presented when they played against Harambee Star, I remember at some point, the legs of Diamonde from the Leipzig played very well than Pepe. Remember, they were trading from the same line of So it was actually kind of an untimely thing to see Pepe being dropped at some point. If that form that Diamonde really presented in Ivory Coast and continued to do it at the club level is what he has, Pepe does not stand a chance even to be given. Even if he carried that particular team, he'll just going to warm the bench.
But I'll differ. I'll differ with what Cedric's saying, because...
But you're bringing Zaha, who's playing in the lower division.
I was to come there, but they differ. Let him first.
Let him differ first.
Let me
before you differ. Champe, unasemaje? Watu wapige simu hapa.
The numbers are appearing on your screen as we wait for Shtemi to differ. You can call in live and tell us what's your take on Chelsea facing Everton tomorrow at 6 p.m. Will they bounce back tomorrow after the underwhelming 0-0 with Bournemouth on Saturday? And I want to just have some of the feedback that you are sending. Hey, KTN. From Tala, my view on that, Chelsea is, they will win 1-0 because of the home advantage. Wishing Chelsea all the best. Najasema ni nani? I'm Vincent Muloli from Ruaraka. Chelsea can't have good results unless they sign in a centre-back who is experienced. Maybe Bastoni from Inter. Amagwe from
Palace.
Palace, yes. Chelsea will do nothing but losing to Everton or at least a draw. Wishing Chelsea all the best. Chelsea 2, Everton 1. Ujasema ni nani? Chelsea will do hiyo nadhani imejirudia. Cha nisome nyingine kabla you move on Robi. Hey, ni Rafael kutoka Tigoi. Fan wa Kiburi FC. Kiburi FC ni gani?
Ndio hii hapa.
Iko hapa hivi. Kama kawa Chelsea ni kichapo kama cha Talanta. I'm Francis from Kibra. Chelsea will win. Those are some of the SMSs that you're having on 22151. Remember, it is free, and you can send in your take on this game, Chelsea facing Everton. And you can also call in live, 0732-142017. And then we are going to hear from you what you are having this night. And the other one is 0732-142041. Ya mwisho, to wait. Everyone must beat Chelsea tomorrow. Everyone.
Everton. Labda ni typo.
I don't think ni typo.
Autocorrect.
You can say everyone will beat Chelsea.
Let's go back to AFCON, and it's all about Ivory Coast dropping some players ahead of AFCON 2025. Remember, Ivory Coast are the defending champions, and there are players that have been dropped. And Shtemi, you are to differ briefly before we head to another team that has been earmarked as one to watch out for during this tournament.
Yeah, I'll partially differ with what Cedric has aired in regards to one Pepe, because one of the reasons I understand head coach Faye decided to drop one Pepe is because of some of the controversial statement he made prior to this tournament about Morocco. And I think it has generated a lot of racism responses on social media. So maybe if I fight to maybe axe him from that squad, he was trying also to protect maybe Pepe himself, because that environment in Morocco wouldn't have been conducive for him. That is one of the reasons as to why he had to drop Pepe, but it's not barely on his form. It was about other issues outside the pitch.
Lakini Ashitemi, form pia ya Pepe klabuni Villarreal haijakuwa nzuri zaidi, kuzingatia kwamba ni mshambulizi. Kwa hivyo nahisi kwamba pia kocha aliangalia kwenye mizani, anafaa afai.
Na Zaha kule?
Zaha umri umekwenda, lakini nahisi kwamba analeta uzoefu, manake amekuwa na hiki kikosi tangu
pia kuna uzoefu.
Naelewa. Hata Adingra ambaye aliwasaidia kutoa ubingwa wa Afrika. Kwa hivyo nahisi kwamba kocha alikuwa anaangalia mizani yake kwamba klabuni unafanya vipi na pia uzoefu uko vipi.
Kipruto, Hakimi is back in. No, I have to pause because no, we've moved on.
Oh, you have left
Kipruto, Hakimi is back in the Moroccan squad for AFCON. Most people thought because he's injured, he will be left out. What are your thoughts?
Kulingana na mimi naona kwamba Hakimi ameweka kwa sababu juu ya experience ambayo ako nayo. Unajua kocha anataka mtegemee kupatia wale wengine advice hata kama atacheza kwa sababu saizi ameumia na pia
Kupea watu wengine advice. How old is he? How old is he?
Ako 13 kapi.
He's not 30. 26.
Yeah. But out experience. Alafu pia ukiangalia anacheza timu kubwa PSG.
And he's what? He's also what? Ballon d'Or winner.
And also the African.
Actually, African Player of the Year.
I would also literally differ with everybody.
No, he's not the Ballon d'Or winner, but the African Player of the Year. Yes, beg your pardon.
Moroccan team, if it comes to experience, Hakimi aside, I think almost every player in that particular squad has experience.
Most of them were the World
given
Cup.
to the mere fact that they were in the World Cup and they played up to the semi-final. I literally think that for Hakimi to be there, given that he was supposed to be there and he got an injury, that's one point. Then point number two, if Morocco, of which it's perceived, go ahead to win Africa Cup of Nations, he will still have to win it with the team. Just the same way when France were really heading to World Cup. You remember by that particular time, Benzema at some point was being touted that he will be called if France reaches finals and wins it. That was the conversation that was going around. The idea was to have Benzema win that particular trophy. And I think at this particular time, Morocco is quite prepared, and they know very well that this Africa Cup of Nations, if not today, they will never again win Africa Cup of Nations, given that they're in great form and they're hosting it.
Kariuki.
Kabisa, tuko na watu ambao wanapiga simu pia kuchangia mjadala. Let's talk to Miki from Nakuru. Miki, how are you? Hello. Miki kama ametoweka. Nicholas from Kericho, habari yako? Nicholas from Kericho. Ni kama pia yeye ametoweka. Hata yeye ametoweka ama yuko? Bado ni kama ameondoka. Nicholas from Kericho, how are you?
Hello, I can get you. How are you?
You can get me. Everton will be facing Chelsea tomorrow. Maresca is the manager of the month of November. Kesho anaweza bounce back.
Hello. Fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Nicholas, kidogo usijisikize kwa TV. Tuongee kwanza. Usijisikize kwa TV. Hey, so kesho Chelsea at home, Stamford Bridge will be playing Everton. What are your expectations in that fixture?
For my side,
Yes.
na hivi Chelsea inakuwa ikisuazua. I'm a Chelsea fan anyway.
So amujiamini.
Siwezi kujiamini. Unajua sasa hivi squad. There are a lot of injuries at the back line. Cole Palmer is not yet fully fit.
Uamini hata Tosi na Drobioyo.
What I can see from that game ni draw. Maybe 1-1.
1-1 draw.
Yes.
Aside from that, Nicholas, we are having Africa Cup of Nations that begin next weekend. Which team are you rooting for?
Currently, I'm rooting for Morocco.
Morocco.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. That is Nicholas from Kericho.
Will you please give me a minute? Maybe I can comment. Will you please give me a minute? I comment on local football.
Sure. Feel free.
From my end,
yes,
with the new curriculum, CBE,
yeah,
I think the Ministry of Education should be working hand in hand with FKS, so that apart from identifying the young talent that we can easily see from some tournaments, maybe they should be in a position to start the football academies.
Yes.
So that those students, maybe they have been taken to Okay, I hope you understand about the CBE.
Yeah.
Those who are taking arts and sports science,
STEM.
they should not only,
STEM.
apart from, so they should easily be identified from the school level so that we can have the under 13, under 15, 17 going forward. Yes.
Sawa. Thank you very much. That is Nicholas from Kericho, of course, saying that schools should also be involved in coming up with academies, as well as also giving us his prediction for tomorrow's tie between Chelsea and Everton, saying that it will end 1-1. So we take a short break. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Remember, we have the Champions League matches played this week. Gentlemen here will be giving us their brief remarks on the games that we had, but I know Sedo is going to go hard on Real Madrid, but that will be after the break.
You are watching The Football Sleep, brought to you by 1x.